What if I told you that all you need to get started and ahead of the rest of everybody in 2023 this year is just to own zero point 0.1 Bitcoin? This will make you rich if you are patient enough. As of August 24th, 2023, this will cost you around $2,600 US. And this by no means is a small transaction for most of us. From a positive perspective, let's be inspired by this somewhat still low barrier of entry to get 0.1 Bitcoin. So remind yourself, the halving clock on Bitcoin's supply is ticking, and no one bats an eye. We are expecting the next Bitcoin halving in 235 days, or about April 15th of next year in 2024. What does this mean? This means that in estimated April of next year, we will see Bitcoin's issuance drop by half yet again. This will be the fourth halving that Bitcoin will see in the last 13 or 14 years of its existence. You, on the other hand, are better than that to ignore this fact. You are a curious individual and embrace new technologies like Bitcoin, and you understand that the fear of something is just a symptom of ignorance and you not knowing enough, which is why it's important to do as much research as you can. For instance, we understand that the inelastic supply of Bitcoin means that its price increasing does not increase the total Bitcoin supply that can and will be issued to us. Bitcoin is the honey badger of money and does not care what the price is. You also understand that digital scarcity is the new paradigm shift for the future of global commerce and wealth preservation. You also understand that savings is really important. And for a lot of people using the US dollar, we are essentially spoiled to this fact that we don't even think about savings. But if we look at the Argentine peso, for example, we will see that price has far exceeded the previous highs that we saw in November of 2021. This number is up over 50% in 2023, whereas here in the US, we don't even notice and the price is pretty flat. And the reason I think that is because a lot of us are spoiled and don't understand that savings is important. When we have something like Bitcoin that is fixed in supply, you know that there is simply going to be less and less and less and less as time goes on. And it's important to take advantage of the fact that we are not quite at the end part of the issuance. So we can take advantage of the fact that we can still buy Bitcoin at relatively low prices today in 2023. So using this chart that I put together, we can see that the Bitcoin you own is 0.1000000. This is 10 million Satoshis. Every Bitcoin has 100 million of them. So if you have 0.1 of them, that means you own 10% of a Bitcoin, which is 0.1 Bitcoin. So let's see what the power of deflation looks like as far as a finite supply of something looks like. So looking at the Bitcoin price on the top right, you will see that Bitcoin is $26,000 roughly in today's price or exchange rate. The nice things in life in column A are showing us things that anyone would desirably want in the future whenever it comes for retirement, or maybe they just want to, take something out of savings to do something that they really want to do in life. So we're going to be spending our time and money on things like travel, buying new property, moving around, which is part of travel, education to, further improve ourselves, get smarter every day, and of course hobbies, because what's the point of all the work if we can't enjoy ourselves? So these are the arbitrary prices I put on these things, and you can see that of our own supply, we only have 0.1 Bitcoin, and something like traveling for $10,000 would require 0.38 or close to 0.4 Bitcoin, which would be close to 400% of our current supply. Well, we don't have that yet, right? What would have to change for us to be able to enjoy travel down the road? The beautiful thing is Bitcoin loves to protect time and energy. And as that goes on, more people enter the system, and therefore there is less Bitcoin for everyone, which means that in order to part ways, then people will have to pay a higher price. So let's just assume that Bitcoin doubles after the next halving. This means that you now require only half of the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin required to travel was cut in half, and your Bitcoin did not change. Bitcoin is expected to be somewhere north of $500,000 by 2027. And this is the bull case, so this is being idealistic here. That means our 0.1 Bitcoin, which has not moved since we bought it in 2023 for $2,600, is now worth $50,000. Okay, so in US dollars, the goalpost is moving, but in Bitcoin, it does not change. And to get to the grand point of why 0.1 Bitcoin is a substantial amount of Bitcoin in today's value that people in the future just are not aware of yet, is there is simply not enough for everyone to have 0.1 Bitcoin. So looking on the right side, we will see that there is around 19 million Bitcoin issued, and this is a round number for simplicity's sake. If we look at the global population of 8 billion people, roughly, we could divide these two out and see that there is only about 236,000 Satoshis per person. You, on the other hand, were wise and got yourself 10 million of them before everyone even knew what Bitcoin even was. So therefore, you have now the equivalent holdings of 42 people that in the future will likely never even have an opportunity to get 0.1 Bitcoin. Let's look at Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares, for example. These shares have never split since they were issued back in the 60s or 70s, whenever it was, way back whenever they decided to issue these. You would never think that a stock could cost $537,000 for one share. But why is that? Well, the reason is because there is only a limited number of Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares that you could possibly own. So as the value goes up, then your proportion of ownership in Berkshire Hathaway does not change, but the value that it's worth does. So why on earth is a money that is global, has no borders, and can be moved within 10 minutes anywhere across the world in any value for little to no money on the dollar not be worth more than Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares? So if you put all of these things together and understand that time is ticking, and right now is the best time to get Bitcoin since we can only look ahead, then you'll understand how important it is to get yourself 0.1 Bitcoin. Let me know in the comments if you have more than 0 Bitcoin in your possession and when you plan on buying more. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Not only does it help a channel, but it's a great way to show your support. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit the bell notification to make sure you get notified when I make videos just like this one. Take care and see you in the next one.